I don't mind coming here.
I'm wasting all my time, yeah.
Cause when you're standing oh so near, kind
I
of
kind of lose my mind. Yeah.
Good morning, Nudelberg, Daily Huddle.
And I don't mind you coming here. Ooh, and wasting all my time.
So I know
Ooh,
Jim Barrett will love this for sure. Big Cars fan.
ooh, 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 ooh,
Good morning, good
ooh,
morning, good morning.
ooh, ooh, ooh.
Turn it up Thursday. How about that?
Turn it up Thursday. Turn it up.
Takeover
How about
Thursday.
me? It's take off. I took off my jacket. How's that?
Love the golf shirt. Love the golf polo.
Representing my Nike stuff today, so I'm feeling good.
Good morning to the crew as they shuffle in.
Thank you, Scotty Garber. We're
Good
in the right
morning,
color
Jeremy.
today. Come on, we're live. Say hello. See, you never know who's going to drop in.
You never know.
Nudelberg at the beautiful Canopy
Yeah,
Hotel.
and she's not social distancing.
We
So.
are hoping for it. Come enjoy it.
You doing good?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Just have guests drop by the show now.
Hey, man, it's nice, man. There is a surprise coming for in person here at the Canopy. Coming soon.
Coming soon. So, good morning. Good morning. Knew that Jim would love that song. Welcome to the Nudelberg Daily Huddle on this fantastic.
By the way, just for the record, you know, the Cars don't come up as often as they probably should. You know, I mean, they're a great band. The music's unbelievable. And I guess the fact that Rick Ocasek, who was their lead singer, turned out to be a real schmuck. You know, he died. He didn't leave his wife anything, man.
It hurts. It hurts the brand. It definitely hurts the brand.
It hurts the brand.
Good morning, Eddie Dykes. Good morning, Howie Craw. Terrific Thursday. Love it. Good to see everybody in the house and coming on in.
So here's the power of stuff that goes on. I was at lunch at Abe and Louie's the other day, as most people who follow me saw that. And the conversation at the table was about Eddie Dykes' comment about people buying engagement rings and jewelry instead of vacations. I mean, and it was like, wow, here I am with, 5, business people. And they go, hey, by the way, that comment by your friend Eddie Dykes, man. So way to go, Eddie. That was a cool piece of social media out there.
Absolutely. That's awesome. And shout out to Jim. He said, I remember those road trips. I do. Those 14-hour car rides from North Carolina back to South Florida, where there was a lot of cars being played.
Nice.
So,
nice.
For sure. So the point of today's song, give just what I needed, is the title of the song. And we're going to talk a lot about connectivity today. And the key to connecting is giving people just what they need. So that's where the song comes from. It's going to be a lot of what we talk about today. But before we jump into that, there is a very happy birthday to a Huddle member, and that is Cindy Metzler. Happy birthday to you. Hope that you have a fantastic day and make it a fantastic day. And if you don't know Cindy, you should reach out to her. She does unbelievable stuff up in Palm Beach, and great lady to know.
Yeah, she's such an awesome lady. She actually handles TEDx and is the one that got me my opportunity to speak on a TEDx stage. So among other things, her Tell Me Something Good was a great episode. She shared lots of nuggets on how to get things done. So another shout out to a great woman in our Huddle masses, Brett Sadler, who, again, we went 1 hour on our Tell Me Something Good. She had so many nuggets, but always good to get a swag bag and a thank you note. A swag bag, man. She loaded the thing up, man. I got a bunch of stuff from her, and I'm very appreciative. And just Nudelberg Daily Huddle family. Family. How about that, man? We're all a family. Thank you for always leading with positivity and motivation. Cheers from Vegas. your friend Brett Sadler. So thank you so much, MGM, M Life. And you know what? I think I may take a trip to Vegas.
She definitely upped the game when it comes to what we received in the mail as far as branded polos and pens and all kinds of great MGM stuff. So shout out to Brett Sadler. Thank you so much for that gift. And we talk a lot about national days, you know, and I'm always like, there's a day for everything. And then like there's one day that's got 7 different, today is national whatever day. But I think they finally ran out of ideas because today is National Just Because Day, and it's National Just Because Day because they couldn't think of anything else.
Just because I got nothing for you, right?
They got nothing else for you.
That reminds me of the Seinfeld episode where, you know, he goes, I got nothing, Jerry. I got, you know, they go in and they pitch themselves to NBC. We got a show about nothing. We got nothing. Can you imagine walking into a client? I got nothing. I'm sorry. I got nothing. Zero.
And we've all had the thought, right? Is that person on drugs? Like you have a conversation with somebody and you go, is that person on drugs? Well, there is a new study from Quest Diagnostics that showed 4.5% of U.S. workers tested positive for drugs last year in 2019. That's the highest percentage in 16 years. It represents a 29% increase from a decade ago. So the answer to your question is yes, they were probably on drugs when you talked to them.
There have been plenty of times when I would walk in and go, I guess this place doesn't drug test. Okay. So it's, well, now with people working at home, the, you know, alcohol business is off the chart. You know, what's to stop somebody from getting up and going to make themselves a pop, you know, right during the day. So I think the availability of that is going to change, you know, drinking and drug taking.
So moving into the connectivity, how do we connect? How do you really build connections with people? And especially in a world where we're virtual now, I have a Trent Jones update for everybody, which for those of you who don't know who Trent Jones is, he's the CEO and owner of Layered IT, who sent me a horrible first cold email. So I received a follow-up email from him that says, hi, Mark, your business has changed. Your runway is short for 2020. Let's discuss how we can help you upgrade your hardware and reduce your risk and annual IT expense by 50%. Support and help desk included. Would you be free for a quick call either on Tuesday or Thursday next week? Trent Jones. So,
thank you, Trent. Thank you, Trent, for jumping in the spam pool.
In the world of persistency, you know, being persistent works. Persistency with poor execution is never going to work. So
right. Just because you're doing it, if you're doing it wrong, doesn't mean, you know, and I think unfortunately, you know, there's a lot of people who have that view about LinkedIn. LinkedIn is an amazing connectivity tool if you use it right. But, you know, there's all those people who are preaching, hey, here's, you know, I've got 30,000 connections. Please just connect with me at random. And, you know, I say to them, I go, so you're telling me that if I walked up to your front door and I knocked on your front door and I said, hey, I want to come in and talk to you about my business, you know, you would let me in. Come right in my house. Come on, right in. You know, it's like, it's just completely ridiculous. You know,
I responded back to Trent this morning and I said, Trent, I would just love to know how you know anything about my business, since it's clear that you know my business has changed and I have a short runway for 2020. Ooh. I'm really interested to know how you know anything about my business, and I would love to talk to you about your approach and how you're doing things, sales guy to sales guy. And I'm really intrigued to see what.
No way you hear from him. No way you hear from him. There's no shot. So, you know, I mean, I saved some of the better ones as well. You know, I got one. This one was a doozy. Nathan Christopher, which I guess we are giving them their due, but I'm just shouting them out. Nathan, you know, my trick is I always say, hey, thanks for the invite. You know, how do I know you or whatever? Hi, Steve. And he goes on to say everything about himself. I was born, you know, I mean, like literally paragraphs of we are experts at creating custom websites and doing all of this stuff. I mean, literally goes on to give me his hourly rate all the way down there. Let me know if we can schedule a conference call with you to showcase our skill sets. All about him, not one thought about me, not the hint of a question. And this is what we're dealing with now. People who are just, this is work. They are doing work. It's all spam. It's not getting anybody anywhere. So it's now, if you allow me, I'll go the other way. I'll give you the positive side of it.
Sure.
So, I like to say to people, I go, listen, if you were just in normal times, would you just walk up to somebody and blurt out what you do? Of course not. So sending a note is always a good thing. I got a note this morning from Husan, who is the chief marketing officer for carparts.com. And he said, hey, I was reviewing TED Talks and yours really, really inspired me. It would be a privilege to connect. I wanted to hug this guy. It's just number one. Certainly I was flattered that he did his homework ahead of time. But the reality is that's the way you should introduce yourself. It was about something that connected us, not about his business, not about anything. He didn't have an ask. It was just doing that. And so I applaud him for using LinkedIn properly. And now we're going to have a virtual cup of coffee. We're going to be, and I said to him, I always like learning from other sales and marketing professionals about what's working. And here we go, boom, so, this does work if you use it properly. And it's a pleasure to see people who do that.
So I want to answer Scott Graham's question because he asks a great question. He says, what happens when it isn't someone but they happen to be in the correct industry, that it could be a good connection and they haven't puked on you about their biz? So you heard the way I responded to Trent, right? I'm going right back at him with a very direct dialogue about, number one, I'm pointing out an area that I think he could get better. He's assuming he knows something about my business and he doesn't. And number two, I want to talk to him about his approach, because even if we just have a conversation on where I can give him a nugget to help him right away, maybe that turns into a piece of business for us where we're able to guide him and his organization on sales best practices and modernizing what they're doing. So I'm not afraid to respond to these people, but I'm going to give him the chance to come back to me. And if he doesn't, then he's gone forever. So Scott, I think as you're looking at it and you're like, wow, this is somebody that I might want to know, they really suck with their approach, go ahead and fire the message. Try to create the conversation. That's the number one thing you're trying to accomplish. If you can do that, great. If you can't, then you can move on from it.
The whole idea here is that it's about personalization. It's the number one driver that has changed, is that it's not about what you do. It's about who you are and how you connect. And people go, well, give me an example. I go, well, I can reach out to anybody who's a Florida Gator alum, and we already have a connection, and start with that. Okay. I can also reach out to anybody who's a Florida State alum and just say, hey, listen, just before we get started, is it going to be a problem that I'm a Gator and you're a Knoll? Boom. Sure. Started the conversation out on a good thing. And I've won opportunities starting it like that. But when you think about what drives and what makes people who they are, it's where they come from, their hometown, where they went to school, what charities they're involved in, what passions they have. We worked with United Way yesterday and we went through this, and there was a guy on screen wearing a Notre Dame shirt. And we're going through all of the modernizing, the processes. And I look at him and I said, Brandon, you could exclusively go after, work your network of Notre Dame alumni, period. Never talk to anybody else, and just reach out and say, hey, we're fellow alum. Wouldn't it be great for us to have a conversation? And you like saw the ease, his jaw dropped, because he was like saying, yeah, you know what? I could do that. That doesn't seem real hard. No, cold calling is hard. It's stupid. It's a waste of time. Hi, let me tell you about me. Hi, let me tell you about me. Hi, let me tell you. Oh, wait a minute. Can I interrupt your day to tell you about me? I mean,
it's inefficient. It's an inefficient thing to be doing.
Right, yeah.
So this leads us to, because we always shout out McKinsey. I love McKinsey. We love McKinsey. They put out unbelievable content, and they did an article with Nick Vallejos, and the title of the article is Connectivity with the Consumer. And if you don't know who Nick Vallejos is, he's in his third year of being the CEO of Honest Company, which is Jessica Alba's, organic products company. And he came from Clorox, so he's got a lot of consumer product experience, but the article is phenomenal. There's so many nuggets, but I want to pull out a few that are very particular to connecting and how he's building connectivity with the people that buy from him. But before I get there, the number one thing he says, the reason he chose to go to Honest Company, because it was a fit for him and his family. So we talk about being a fit all the time. He chose that based on employment. You should be choosing the people you do business with based on fit, not just based on the fact that they're willing to spend money. So a great lesson to be learned there. But he talks about being accessible based on where people shop, which I think as a sales professional, you got to be accessible to the people that you're trying to work with, build connections with in order to find opportunity. So where are you in the world of social media? Where are you showing up that they are? How are you jumping into that space in a way that's consumable? And he calls it snackable marketing, which I love. He's
nuggets, baby, nuggets.
He's creating these little bite-sized pieces of content, and he's doing it in a way that is very audience segmented. He's trying to speak to people. So for instance, there's a pregnant mother. He's trying to break into that industry, right? To get them to buy Honest Company's new diaper wipes. And this is a new market for them. So how is he going about getting to those people? He's having marketing influencers or just creating marketing materials about pregnancy from pregnant moms, giving out little snippets about who they are and sending them. If you want to hear more about Jessica's story, go to this place to learn it. So he's little bite-sized, just what we talked about yesterday, about stopping the scroll and getting into that window and then leading them back to it. Talking about give to get. He's sending that mom a $5 Target gift card so she can go buy a bottle, so she can go buy a car seat, so she can do something in a place where he knows he's got visibility. He's on end caps. So giving somebody something, not to spend on his product, but in a place where he knows I got a chance for them to continue to build the brand and build awareness there. So I'll share the article for everybody because it's phenomenal, but it sent me down this road of connectivity. And all I hear now with people is, I want to learn how to network in this virtual environment. How do I virtual network? We're not in person anymore. So I said to myself, I'm going to write down the key things that make me successful in building connections online and how I go about doing it on a daily basis. The first one, which is the key to everything that we do, is research. Research is always fundamental, whether it's inbound, outbound. I don't care if I receive a piece of information from somebody. My response to them has something about them that I know. We've got a lot of mutual connections. We went to the same school. We've got a similar past. Something has happened where I know, okay, I see you. I don't know you, but there's something.
Or I saw you posted something that I found intriguing. I'd like to learn more.
That's the outbound.
Bait, man, boom,
So, let people know when you're outbound, let people know how you found them and why they interest you, right? I saw a guy's podcast come across my timeline. I don't know him, but I listened to it. He did an unbelievable job of asking questions. I fire him a connection. Hey, listen to your podcast. It was great. What an unbelievable job of pulling information out of your guest. Here's some more about me. Would love to have virtual coffee if you're interested in sharing stories. That's a simple way to let people know you're engaged with them.
I would back up for 1 second here. And yes, research, and it's really the first step in all of it. But even prior to research, it's like, what is your real reason for connecting? If your real reason for connecting is to sell something to somebody, you're going to get crushed. because it's just the world, the buying behavior isn't that way anymore. If you legitimately and authentically want to connect with people to really, really enhance your life, because people can provide you value in so many different ways, that if you do that, and I said, yesterday, if you can go out and make 5 new friends every day, well, if you do that every day for 90 days, you add 450 new friends to your life. I don't care what you do for a living, your life will change. You will have so many new people who are in there who know you, like you, trust you. They'll either find a way to buy from you or find somebody who can.
And it's never been but people are good at making friendships in person. People are freaking out now because the only way to build relationships is through this virtual environment and using social media as a way, as a driver to create the first connection, which should be easier for people. Because if you're at a networking event, it's super hard to just bust into a conversation and try to introduce yourself. But in the social media world, there's a lot of tools to use, specifically content, right? And content's a two-way street. Just because you're posting doesn't mean anything unless you're doing something to other people's content. If you're liking, if you're sharing, if you're commenting on it with valuable insight, that now is going to push your content to those people's worlds, and it's going to allow you to show up differently. Because right from the article that I read about Honest is you want to be in the place where people are consuming. How do you show up in that place? This is how you do it, by engaging with what's happening and the activity. So the content as a two-way street is the third thing. The fourth thing,
Cindy Metzler just joined, so I don't know if she heard us in the beginning, but happy birthday.
Awesome. Happy birthday, Cindy. Thank you for being here with us this morning. We hope you have a great day. The fourth thing is pay attention to the triggers and always send a personal message. If you see something happen with their company, with them personally, don't just like a post of theirs, send them a message, make it personal to them. Hey, unbelievable accomplishment. So happy for you. Let me know if we can celebrate over a virtual coffee, something like that. The fifth and sixth things I think are the things that people forget about all the time. And they're the easiest is introduce them to somebody that you know. It's never been easier to do that through a combined message or through an email. And the last thing is tagging them or sending them content, articles, videos, things that you've seen that says, hey, I know this could be relevant to your world. Maybe I just was thinking of you and thought you might be able to digest this. So in this, how do I connect in a virtual world? These are all ways to build relationships within the virtual environment that are not selling. You're building real relationships, you're delivering value, and you're showing up in a way that's different than everybody else.
It's a fascinating world, because when you think about, something like just LinkedIn as a marketplace instead of a, social media tool, it's a marketplace. There's 700 million people that are there 24 hours a day, no geographical boundaries. Here's the best part. No expectation as to when you respond or if you respond or how you respond. I have something I posted 3 weeks ago. Somebody just liked it yesterday and keeps it going, So I think, it's a reorientation for a lot of people. But again, you have to start with the fact that, what is your intention here? I think a lot of people are lazy. They're jumping into this saying, oh my God, I could spam 1 million people and I'll deal with the ones that, fall through the crack and do business with me. But the reality is, if you're willing to build it brick by brick by brick, everybody that comes into your world is part of your foundation. We've talked about this before, that in tough times, you go back to your network. That's where all of the strength comes from. And if every single day you make it part of your process to go back to your network, I had an amazing opportunity. I shared it with the president of Gallagher Insurance, and I did it in a video. And his response to me, which was amazing, and I want to share this with you, Steve, well, you never failed to amaze me with creativity. So, now I didn't sell him anything. I jumped in and started a conversation. But that was a guy that, oh, and by the way, what he said was, he goes, by the way, great note taking. Yes, my son is 2.5 years old. My wife is pregnant again, and I still love the Cubs. Because in the thing, I said to him, I go, if my memory serves me, I said,
Right.
I think your son was just born. I sent you a onesie as a Cubs outfit for your son, and I know you like, and so that's real deep. Who else is sending you messages that are doing the research, writing it down, owning it 2.5 years later? And I don't do it to say that I'm bragging. I'm saying that I take the time to do 5 a day like that. Not mass, not 500, not 5 million, not, 5, it's
Correct.
just not the way the world is being built now. If you do it personally, 1-to-1, the numbers over a short period of time really, really add up. They really do stack up.
It makes a difference, and it makes the business that you do last longer because it's built on a real relationship and not on a transaction. So we are today with time, but really glad that you guys jumped in on this Connectivity Thursday, and great conversation. Todd, Leanne, Ed, appreciate you guys and your feedback. Get after it this Thursday. Take it over for yourself. Build connection with everybody that you're talking to, and stay on the ball.
Hey, real quick, Leanne, if you're still paying attention, can you call me? I have a question for you, and would love to run it by you and get your voice on it. So happy Thursday, everybody. Go kick some ass. Stay on the ball.